Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial is about the menus, shop and all they contain. The menus and shop will be in Objects Hub. The light menu is in L_menu and the dark menu is in D_menu with the shops. The scripts for the light menu are in scripts, light_menu. The light world items are in light menu item. Global.L_item description is the description that appears when you click the info button. Global.L_item drop is the message that appears when you click the drop button. Global.L_item message is the message that appears when you click the use button. Global.droppable if the item is removed when you drop it. False do not drop, true it removes. Global.use_and_delete. If the item is removed when used, it is off by default, you have to write it. We will use the CD as an example. Here I made a mistake. I forgot to change the use message, so it's strange that looking at it makes it disappear. And also I made it drop false, so it doesn't drop. Now we need an object to give us the CD. I'll use the obj_HeroChris. It should be a placeholder for Chris, but it doesn't matter. Place it somewhere in the room. Now write if room the name of the room. This command checks if the X and Y of the two objects overlap. The obj_main_can move checks that the character isn't already in a dialogue or cutscene. This checks if the player presses the confirm key. We put ORZ because the letters aren't recognized when writing the letters inside or put them in uppercase. We clear the confirm key so it doesn't tell the text box to progress as soon as it starts. Here we check if the text box exists. If it doesn't, we need to create it. Now we check that the CD isn't already inside the inventory. With this command, we get the length of the array. Arrays are a group that contain variables. Then we get the length so we don't put it over an existing item. And we insert the item. spells. If we already have the CD, it tells us we already have it. And here I forgot that I set the delete when used true. And realized that I didn't make the drop true. Okay, now for the phone calls. This script is inside light underscore menu. We need to make the things we make for normal text. But there is something I need to teach you. Audio stop. If that audio is playing, the text box will not proceed. This is how we recreate the using phone in dark world. We will use everyone's favorite short skeleton sans undertale for this. This is the call, but maybe we want it to be different for every room like the papyrus ones. I'll give you a very simplified example. We will make only 2 versions if inside the living room or any other place. We need an object to give us the number, and we will use sans. Another new thing is more underscore sounds. This is a condition that checks if the sounds of the character speaking changes. dislike before checks if we already have the number. This is how the colored text works. You put, and inside the color I added white, red, yellow, blue, green, purple, magenta, brown and gray. Every time you have to put C and then the first letter. Now for another example, we can use a variable that if it's true, the dialog changes. We use a global variable. A global variable is a variable that isn't bound to any object. Global.variables will be resetted when the game is closed or reloaded with debug arm or later. This variable is a flag. I made 500 of these. Now we include the previous dialog inside the flag false and make new dialog for when it's true. Since now only Sun speaks, the more sounds is often we only have to put the voice once. I forgot the reaction for the last page. For the info, you just need to change the variables. The names explain themselves. For the items, weapon and armors, there are two ways to get them. Either the shop or chest. First, position the chest in a room. Then you need to put in the creation code. You type item or weapon or armor, the first letter uppercase. And it contains the name of the item, weapon or armor. You find this script in dark_menu, items. We will add an item, and I chose water, stay hydrated. First thing, write argument 0, write the name of the item. Global.item_DSK is the description of the item. Global.item target is how many party members are selected when you click the item. It's 0 if it creates a text box, 1 if it targets just one person, and 2 if it targets the whole party. HP is the HP it heals. A message 2 temp is what Susie says. A message 3 temp is what Rosie says. A message 5 temp is what Toriel says. Yeah, I added Toriel. I will make a video about adding party members. More underscore reactions. This is if there are more than one reaction active. Normally, this is just for item target 2, but for items like the T, then it used because they give multiple reactions. Global.usable. This is another check to see if it creates the text box. I'll make you see how the multiple reactions could be changed. This checks the selected party member and it reacts accordingly. With this, the HP also changed depending on the person. These are the items you start with. I'll reset the variables in the chest. To activate the debug, press F1. Then to go to Chris's room, press F. I need to consume an item to get it. To go to the other party member's G. Now for the item target 2. You just have to put the item target 2 and the reactions for the spin cake. The HP increases by the global.chapter. Also, another thing items can do is play a sound. And there is an extra condition called replicable. This is responsible for making it happen. Normally, it's off. You only need to write it into the item if it's true. Remember to write the condition of what happened when eaten. In this case, when eaten, the DD burger gets replaced by a dark burger. I'll replace an item with the CD bagel. The last case of item is item target 0. Like said before, they create a text box when used. The reactions are unused. Maybe I could add an option to make the reactions appear within the text box. It checks global.usable, and if it's false, then it doesn't remove the item when used, and if global.itemTarget0, then it creates the text box. These are the defaults of the text box. You need to change them in the item, like this. Now for the key items, open the cr_key_info still in the dark menu item folder. These are all the decryptions. The use of the key items are in a different script. We will use this as an example of key item. That is cr_key_use. We make it so it plays this sound when we press Z. It can be more complex like the cell phone. That closes the menu and creates an unskippable text box. Or plays a different sound like Lancer. To make them appear in the key item, you need to open the draw menu of obj_menu dark and go to line 264. Lancer isn't here because I made him an object because he does a lot of things while the others stay still. If array underscore contains global.items_key, name of the key item draw_sprite, the sprite, the x, the y, the scale, then 0, c_white and 1. 0 makes it so it doesn't turn around, it's the angle, so it can go from 0 to 360. c_white makes it normal color, and 1's the alpha, the opacity. 1 if you can see it's 0, if it's invisible it can go from all of the in-between of 0 and 1. t_x and t_ you have to be included because they make it so they appear where camera is instead of the coordinates of the room. Here is our sprite and description. Let's try a different sound just to check it works. Also, I added an empty chest. This chest will ... just let out dust when you open it. It still works with the flag and all. Now for the weapons. There are two main scripts we need to cover, the weapon info and weapon list. The weapon list are the weapons you start with max 48. Then for the weapon info, this is where we add the weapon to the game. This is our example weapon. Yeah. Weapon name attempt, the name of the weapon. Global.weapon the stamp, the description. Message 2 temp Susie reaction to equipping. Message 3 temp Rosie reaction. A message 4 temp Noel's reaction, she isn't in the game. I'll save this for the tutorial of creating party members. And message 5 temp tutorial reaction. Global.weapon attempt, the extra attack it gives. Global.weapon temp, the extra defense. Global.weapon mag temp, the extra magic. These two I have no idea what I want to do, because they aren't used nor in Deltarune nor here yet, maybe for the duration of the turn with a wristwatch. Weapon graze temp. This is the time you can graze a bullet before it gives less TP. Weapon graze, she said, this is the size of the graze area. It makes it bigger or smaller depending on what you put it. It multiplies the graze area with this. Global.weapon ability temp, the name of the ability, if it gives you one. Global.weapon ability contempt, the symbol of the weapon ability, so the little symbol near the ability. Global.weapon contempt, the icon next to the weapon name, sword for Chris, axe for Susie, scarf for Rousey, ring for Noel. An important thing to do is go to the CR_init_weapons_ icon and write yes_map_add global.weapon_icons, name of the weapon, sprite of the symbol of the weapon, the sword, axe, scarf, etc. Global.value, the global.value for selling it to shops. This is the same thing for armors. Now for the shops. There are 4 variables important in the buy shop items where you put the names of the items, value, the price you buy it for, shop_type, the type of thing, item, armor, weapon, shop_ds, the description of the thing. Go to room_shop_normal and edit the creation code of the shop. In the creation code, you need to write the thing you want to change, like the text in text box, it starts from 0. The room where the shop is connected to is RM_green. To go there, activate debug with F1 and press H. These two are the shopkeeper sprites. The top one is just for the messages. The messages are these things. I'll make you see how you could edit them. Go to rm_shop_normal and the creation code of the object. This checks the last row, so depending on where the shop is, the shop changes. And it worked, they changed. Now about the talk. Choose talk is false if you can't choose what to talk about, like seam in shade 2. In that case, it would talk about dialogue that is set as inspection at default. This is one of the options. It creates the text box and then it changes the option. Then it sets the new as true, so it will be yellow. And sets a flag to true, so it will always be replaced. Now, there is an object named obj_shop_empty in the rm_shop. Open the debug menu and press F2. Last two variables are the music and background. You can change this at your will. The last thing is the info menu. It has different info about party members. These are SUSIs. There is the symbol, the name of the thing, and the number yes or no. These are purely cosmetic and don't reflect anything. These are the spells you start with. These are kind of cosmetic. I'm still working on the battle spells. I'll make a tutorial when I'm done, but I have no idea when I will be done. For Chris, there is a chance that a dog appears. We need an object to give us the spell, so I'll use Rossi. Again, check if it contains. But this time you have to rewrite all the array. And everything works. Well, that was all. I'll go back to code the battle part of the engine. See you later.